Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be speaking about the Pantheon. Nearly 2,000 years of history, a little bit of mystery, and it's still standing today. Let's get into it. So when we're talking about the Pantheon, we're actually talking about a temple to the Roman gods. And it was built nearly around 2,000 years ago. See, there was this guy called Marcus Agrippa, and he was a general in the Roman army. And he won this big old battle called Actium. And he was really good mates with the emperor at the time, a guy called Augustus. And they were good mates, and they spoke to each other, and they said, should we build this big old temple to our gods in our honor? And of course they did. But then it was destroyed by what we think may have been either a fire or lightning, we're not too sure. It was then rebuilt by the builder of Rome, a guy called Hadrian, emperor of Rome, in 126 AD. So we don't really know this for sure because it happened so long ago, guys. But if you look at the Pantheon today and you'd walk straight into it today, in Roman times you would have walked up steps to get to it. That's because we, as modern humans, built on top of what the Romans had before. So, if you look straight on at the Pantheon, you're going to see 16 pillars. Now, these pillars are obelisks. That means they are one piece of marble. And they came from Egypt. Why would they come all the way from Egypt when Rome has its own quarries next to Rome, in Verona, and all around the northern states of Italy? Well, Rome was an empire, and it wanted to show its might over the Mediterranean at that time. So they said, well, we're going to get these pillars all the way from Egypt, which is one of our vassal states, and bring them to Rome to show everyone how strong we are. Now, if you look above the pillars, you'll see some writing. This writing says, Marcus Agrippa, son of Lucius, 3 times consul, built this. So Marcus Agrippa is saying, I built this. Now, if you look above that, you'll see a big old triangle. Now, this triangle has a whole lot of holes in it. And that's because back in Roman times, there would have been iron, bronze, and even marble symbols attached to that triangle, such as the Roman symbol of the eagle. Now, they were all removed over time. So as we move into the Pantheon, the Temple of the Gods, you'll be able to see original floors, pillars, and all original interior, nearly all original interior. And it's one of the best preserved Roman buildings that we have around today. Why? Well, it's kind of strange. It's because of another religion, of all things, Catholicism. See, there was this guy called Constantine the Great, and he was the emperor of Rome, and in 337 AD he died, and he was the first Roman Catholic to make all of the Roman states follow Catholicism. But then we have to wait until 609 till something interesting happens. See, there was another emperor called Phocas, and he gave the Pantheon to a pope, Pope Boniface IV, who looked at the Pantheon and was like, this is amazing, we're going to change it into a church. So he consecrated it into a basilica, the Basilica of Saint Mary and the Martyrs, which is what is known today. It is a church today. That's why it's in such good condition, because the papacy still pays even today to keep it up, to make sure that it is in perfect condition. And of course, because it's now a church, they had to remove all the pagan symbols, so you would no longer see statues like Jupiter, Neptune, Mars, and all the original statues that would have been there in the Roman times to praise to the Roman gods. Now we get to the part which I think is probably the most interesting part of the Pantheon, and that is its dome. Now, the dome was one of the first of its kind. It still holds the world record today for being the largest unsupported concrete structured dome in the world, even to this day, even though it was built nearly 2,000 years ago, and it has a giant hole in the middle. Now, this hole is called oculus, and oculus just means eye in Latin. Now, what's really interesting is that because it doesn't have any supporting structures, the dome needed support by itself. So each panel at the bottom is heavier and more supportive than the ones at the top. So as you go up, it's lighter and lighter, and the bottom has over 6 meters of a concrete of support. So it doesn't have any supporting beams or anything like that. It's just concrete. Now, talking about the oculus is the main source of light apart from the door in the Pantheon. And when I was there the other day, a tourist was asking, is there a window or a piece of glass or something like that? Nope, there's not. So when it rains on the floor. But the Romans thought about it. They put drainage systems into the marble floor so that the rainwater would disperse away. Now, what's really interesting about the dome in general is it is actually geometrically perfect, because the height and diameter of the dome are equal, 43.3 meters long. And that means that it can fit a perfect sphere in it. Now, this dome has been copied over time. It's even been copied by Renaissance artists like Michelangelo and Bernini when they were building the St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. That's that big old church in the Vatican. And then the Americans then copied the Vatican when they were building the Capitol building. So even though the Romans built this nearly 2,000 years ago, people are still using its architecture today, and I think that is an amazing thing. So then what is the Pantheon actually used for today? Well, it's still a church, it's a museum, and you can go visit it for free. It's a landmark. It holds the tomb of 4 very, very important people. There's a Renaissance artist, Raffaele Santi, really important artist in his time, super, super detailed worker. Then there are 3 other tombs, all royals. We have a father, a son, and a wife. So the first person I want to talk about is the wife. Queen Margherita is her name in English, and that may sound familiar because the pizza Margherita is named after her, named for her when she went and visited Naples. Then we talk about her husband, Umberto I. He is a king of Italy. He's the one with a really cool big white moustache. Then we talk about his father. Now, his father is probably the most important person in the Pantheon today because he unified Italy. See, before him, Vittorio Emanuele II, before him, Italy was made up of a whole lot of grand dukedoms, little kingdoms, and of course the papal states. And then in 1861, he, along with his general Garibaldi, managed to unify Italy, make it one country into a kingdom. And it's now a republic today, but it is still unified because of Garibaldi. There are still people called the Guardia Ognori who go and protect these monarchs. They protect their tombs, the guards of honor. And I think it is entirely fitting that these monarchs, the Savoy Monarchs, are entombed in the Pantheon today. There were 4 Savoy Monarchs, and 2 of the heads of the family are entombed there today. I think it's fitting that they are in the Pantheon because Italy before Rome was made up of a whole lot of little tribes. And these tribes were then unified into become part of the Roman Empire. So the Savoy royal family who unified all these kingdoms and grand dukedoms to become Italy today, I think it's entirely fitting that they are entombed in the Pantheon. Now, the Pantheon is something that has quite literally stood the test of time. It's seen the sack of Rome, it's seen the barbarians, it's seen the Vandals, it's seen its surroundings become different countries, the Papal States, be part of the Holy Roman Empire. It's seen Barbarossa, it's seen the First World War, the Second World War, and millions of tourists that have come to visit it throughout the years. But it also has relevance in our lives today. It brings the ancients to our modern world. And that is history. It's relevant. It's important to learn it. It's important to understand it. Now, that's the end of our video. Please let me know if you have enjoyed it. If you would like to comment down below, let me know what you want to hear about next, what parts of the Pantheon story you liked, what parts you didn't like. If I got something wrong, quite probable, If you know anything else, add it in the comments down below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, the more you know. Thanks for watching.